Good morning. It's a 0 day in Rutland, Vermont, and but I do want to do a short video today. So, slept in this morning. Didn't get up until 7:30, which is I couldn't tell you the last time I slept in until 7:30. So that felt terrific. Went downstairs, had a big breakfast at the free breakfast here in the Hampton Inn. A couple waffles, some fruit, a bunch of coffee. Just did my laundry, which was nice. And I thought what I'd do is a quick little video gear breakdown, stuff that I think is working really well, and a couple of things that I'm not too excited about, but at this point not going to change out. So let's do that real quick, and then maybe later I'll take a run downtown and show you what downtown Rutland looks like, if there's anything going on there. But let's check out the gear. All right, I'm going to start with my backpack, since I think everybody that's been watching since the beginning knows that I swapped this thing out back in Marion, Virginia, because my original pack, the Hyperlight, was giving me a bad rash on my back. So this has been working okay. There's things about it that I really like, which is this suspension system. This thing really, there's a big space right here, you can see, that keeps that off my back. So that rash on my back cleared up in like a week. What I will say I'm not crazy about is these things are wide and you can't mount anything on them. I used to have a little carrying case for my phone, and then on the other one I had a carrying case for the water bottle, which made it pretty convenient to be able to access both of those. Here you can put your water bottles in these little side pockets, but they're just a little harder to get to. But not having the spot for the phone is a little bit of a problem, but I'll show you how I've sort of solved that. What I really am not crazy about at all is these pockets here. These things are really hard. These little hip belt pockets are really hard to close. You really need two hands to zip it closed. You have to like grab this with your other hand across and use this hand to hold this back. It's just not very accessible. And this is where, in here is where usually where there's a little body glide there, and I keep my Sawyer squeeze right here, so I don't have to take the backpack off to filter water. And then on this side in here, I have sunscreen and bug spray, which helps, not have to take your backpack off when you need to refresh those. The other thing I'm not crazy about is this on the hip belts. And maybe it's just because I got this problem with my one side of my hip that's like a little inflamed, but this mesh kind of is hard and it rubs up against, and I think it causes a little bit more of a abrasion on your hip than is necessary. The way the fabric is here too, there's some underneath of that black stuff there. I get a rash up on my shoulders where both of these things are. But all in all, it's been a net positive. Some of the things on it I don't love, but I think just not having that big back rash is a major net positive, though. I do like my Hyperlight, and I probably will use that for some other hikes when I'm done here. But yes, that's what I think about the backpack. Let's switch over and do some of the other gear. All right, so this was a late addition. This is the Hyperlight Versa fanny pack. I've taken the belt loop off, and now I run this through here. I run it through the hip belt or the chest strap, so I can either have this at my hip or along my waistline or across my chest, depending on what I feel like doing. This little front pocket is just barely big enough for my phone. I got a big phone. I have the iPhone Pro Max 15 or whatever with a pretty small case, and it just squeezes in there. So that takes the place of what I used to have on the shoulder strap. The other thing I like is this area back here where you run the hip belt or anything through. I use to keep, this is my C-Knock bag. This is the bag I use to scoop up dirty water and then run it through that filter, and then I put it into one of two smart water bottles that I carry. But when I roll this up, I can fit this in here like this. And what that lets me do that I really like is I don't have to take my backpack off to get water. Before I used to have this like in the back pocket or something, and it was just a pain to always have to take your backpack off to do water. So now that's in the hip belt pocket. That's always right up in front, and boom, I get that done, and that works. This thing has enough room for a bunch of snacks. This is usually where I keep the stuff I'm gonna eat during the day, except for like a lunch. So I can fit three protein bars, some big bag of almonds, usually a bag of Sour Patch Kids, and a couple other things. Like here's some liquid IV that I'll throw into the water bottle. So that thing came in way handier than I ever expected it to. It just lets you access a lot of stuff and keep your pack on. Taking your pack off, as you guys probably know, is a big pain in the neck, and one of the things I try not to do very often unless I have to. So that's a big deal. Here's one that I think I've talked about this, but I haven't shown it before. This is the little ball that I carry to roll my heel and legs and stuff out with. This thing is great. It weighs like nothing, but it's hard, and it's got little nubbies on it, so you can see those things help. So really like the way that it loosens up the bottom of my plantar fasciitis and helps a little bit. So worth carrying. It doesn't weigh a whole lot, and I'm glad I have it. Those you heard about yesterday, I almost lost them. I was in a terrible mood. I don't know if you can see right here. This is where the plastic is coming away from what's underneath it. There's a plastic coating, and that's from the DEET in the bug spray. It melts plastic, and so when I saw that starting to happen, when I put the bug spray on, I moved them up to the top of my hat for a little bit till the bug spray dries. And yesterday I forgot to put them back down on my ears, and boom, fell off. Almost said goodbye to them. That would have been tragic. That's the Coros watch that I use. That tracks my miles, that tracks elevation, a couple other things, heart rate, all that stuff. I like that, and that works really well. So that's a piece of gear that is definitely a go-to. That's my power bank. It's heavy, but it's like a 26,000 milliwatt thing. That keeps that and my phone charged for 3 or 4 days. So that is definitely a must-need, must-have kind of thing if you're going to carry all this electronics. My new favorite thing, which I wish it wasn't, that's the bug net that I wear. I don't know. I literally don't know how I would do Vermont without a bug net. I see people walking here without one, and I honestly don't know how they could do it. It's a necessity. You guys have heard me moaning about that for the last week or so. So I don't think I need to say anything more about that. Picked these bad boys up down in Gatlinburg, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Gatlinburg. Dirty Girl gaiters. They're really good. They keep all the stuff out of your shoes, debris and stuff. And if you get too much of that stuff in there, you gotta stop, take your shoes off. Otherwise you start having, blister problems or stuff in your feet. And so they really work, and I'm glad I picked them up. I didn't have them before. Those shorts are the ones I picked up. Gosh, where was that? Way down early on. I forget what town that was. But when I left my black shorts that I had been wearing at a shelter, I picked these up. These are way better. They're just roomier in the legs. They're a little stretchy. I love them. I'm probably going to send the black ones home now. I have them with me. I'm wearing them now as my sort of town clothes. But I'm probably going to send them home when I get to Hanover, and when I have a pair of long pants with zip-off legs coming to go through the whites and to go through Maine, because I know the bugs are going to be even worse up there. And then my hat. Love the hat. It breathes, it gets wet, and my head sweats, but it dries super quick. That's that Sprints hat that I just found online before I started. And that one comes in handy a lot. And I get a lot of compliments on it. A lot of people say, oh, I like your hat. So yeah, they're the things that are working the best for me. Everything else, I don't really have too many complaints about anything. That's your shirt you see every day. Smart wool, merino wool t-shirt. Really does, I'll tell you what really works about it. The merino wool does an unbelievable job of sort of masking smell, because I can wear that like 3 days in a row and it doesn't stink as bad as other stuff does. Speaking of stink, my backpack, that bad boy over there, that thing smells so bad. I don't know what you can do about it. I guess you can wash it somehow, but I'm not going to do that until I'm all done. I'll figure it out. But yeah, you walk into the room and that thing lets you know that it's here. So, oh, one last thing. Right, we picked these up in New York when I transferred up from Harper's Ferry. The Smart Feet hiker ones, they're helping with the plantar fasciitis. They seem to be doing a better job than the insoles I had, which were Dr. Scholl's plantar fasciitis ones. So pretty happy I made that, I picked those up. But I gotta tell you, I think my feet are actually getting wider as I do this hike, because they're starting to rub, especially my left foot is starting to rub on the inside of my Crocs. They're my camp shoes, and I wear them, you know, after a day of hiking or walking around town to let the merles dry out. They're starting to rub. I'll show you right here on this outside part of my foot. So I'll show you here. My feet are so freaking wide. Look, they're over top of the sides of the Smart Feet insoles. So you can imagine how they're bumping up against the sides of those things and the sides of those things. So yeah, size 12.5 or 13 wides, there's not a lot of shoe options. So you do what you do with what you got. So that's it for now. There's the gear. Here's the room. It's a nice room, very basic. That's all I need. That's all I want. Let me figure out what I'm going to do. It's only 9:30 right now, so I'm going to head down. I'm going to figure out a plan for the day. It's supposed to rain later, but it's not raining now. You can see outside, it's pretty windy. It's really windy, and the sky looks pretty threatening. They're calling for thunderstorms later today. So probably not a bad day to be off trail, although the wind might keep the bugs down, which would be fantastic. Yeah, so let me go figure out what I'm going to do the rest of the day, and we'll let you guys know as we move on. See ya. All right, this won't be that exciting or interesting to you guys, but it's just amazing to me. I've only ever been in Rutland, Vermont once in my entire life. In high school, I came up here for a ski trip. This is the hotel that we stayed in. I remember it very clearly because there was 2 stories. There was a bunch of high school kids in these different rooms. There was a party back in that corner. And I really remember because it's the first time I ever saw a Domino's pizza delivery truck. This was like 42 or 43 or 44 years ago. This place wasn't as run down as it is now. It's a Econo Lodge. I don't know what it was back then, but that is unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. We saw a Domino's pizza guy pull up in this parking lot with a domino on the roof of his car, and we were laughing our butts off because we had never seen that before and thought it was the dumbest looking thing we'd ever seen. Too funny. Too funny. I'm gonna have to get a picture of this and send it to the 2 guys that I remember being on that ski trip with, Joe and Tom, I'm pretty sure. For sure Tom, I think Joe was on that trip. So yeah, I was in this hotel 44 years ago. Too funny. All right, let's go see what downtown looks like. All right, downtown Rutland, Vermont. There's the Boys and Girls Clubs of Rutland. They used to be involved in the Boys and Girls Clubs of Philadelphia on the board there. And pretty nice little street. Not much going on. I think everything is closed today for Memorial Day, but pretty cute. Oh, jewelry store. No jewelry in the window. Well, I guess they're worried about theft here like everywhere, huh? Oh. Looks like there used to be a bakery. Temporarily closed. So what you get in down? Oh, I heard about this place, the Wonder Feet Kids Museum. I looked up things to do in Rutland. That was in the top 5. American Toys. American Made for America. Wow, handmade toy store. That would be cool. Appointments only. I guess they don't do a ton of business. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna take a little walk around, see what else there is here. All right, my buddy Mark is gonna like this. There's a statue of Batman and a guy dressed like Batman right here in downtown Rutland. Rutland journalist Tom Fagan, with the help of comic book authors and illustrators, made the Rutland Halloween Parade into an international phenomenon, featured in more than 24 comic books worldwide. Batman was an early parade favorite, and Fagan, dressed as Batman, appeared with the Cape Crusader in Batman issue number 237 in 1971. Fagan launched a superhero theme the second year of the parade, and his friends in the comic book industry traveled from around the country to attend, bringing rare superhero costumes to the downtown spectacle. How cool is that? Rutland's Halloween Parade is a big superhero thing. Pretty cool. So literally everything is closed in downtown Rutland, but here is the famous Yellow Deli. And it is a deli. I think the deli's closed, but it is also a hiker hostel where you can stay for free up there, I'm pretty sure. It's run by some religious order, and they let you stay. Yeah, we're closed to do extensive renovations, so yeah, that's not open up. But I know that Special K was staying here, and I think Bear Claw said he was staying here too. So this is, everybody on the trail knows about this place. And it's a bummer the deli's closed, just like everything else in town. And oh, there's the Paramount Theater. That was listed as one of the things to do in Rutland, famous theater here. But otherwise, it is literally dead. I can't even find a place to buy a soda or something. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Right, here's another, what I used to like to call a UBI, useless bit of information. John Deere was born here February 7, 1804. That, third son of William and Sarah Deere. 1805, they moved to Middlebury, Vermont. At age 17, he learned the blacksmith trade as an apprentice. Wow, how about that? Never would have guessed Rutland, Vermont had John Deere as a famous alum. Now I'm kind of on the outskirts of the town. Route 4, this is the road that my hotel is on behind me, about half a mile, 2 miles. But I guess like every other little town, they built a big highway right by it, and all the commercial stuff moved out here. Just gonna go up to this next corner, see what's up here, and turn around and head back. Alrighty, I am back in my room. I decided to take an Uber back here instead of walk. Kind of like baseball players, I put myself on a pitch count, or load management, I think as they call it in the NBA. I had 3.5 miles walked already today, and I didn't want to put any more in. But I wanted to show you something interesting outside my window here before I go. You see all kinds of stuff, I guess, in Vermont, but there's guys that have the fender of a car off, the wheel off. It's up on jack stands. It's out in the parking lot. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but obviously they got some work to do on the vehicle. And doing it out back of the Hampton Inn was the place it needed to be done. So I'll leave you with that for today, and I'm just gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go down to the pool, indoor pool, and just splash around in there for a few minutes, relax, come back up, watch a movie, and figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner later. All right, guys, see you back on trail tomorrow.